What does Joe Biden's speech mean for you if you're looking to own a home in 2022? All right, guys, let's jump into it. We're going to talk a little bit about Joe Biden's speech, the State of the Union speech, and jump right into some headlines, give you some of the latest information. Um, this is by no means, and I mean no means, a political show. You will never hear me talking a ton about politics because I don't really care that much. I just don't. But I do care when it comes to politics in the housing market, right? So there are some things that he touched on a little bit that I want to address and how that will impact you looking to own a home. Again, for you and I, owning a home is the number one way that we're going to be able to build any type of wealth. A lot of people build all their wealth just based off of real estate. So when it comes to anything political, I don't really care a whole lot about what goes on there. Um, but I do care about things that are going to affect us in the housing market. Now, the whole Russia Ukraine situation, unfortunately, it's not a good look for anybody. Russia is getting a ton of backlash for this situation. They're going to pay a big price for this, a big price. Now, what does that mean for us in the States? Well, I think it's going to force us to end up looking more and depending more on homegrown homegrown goods, for example, homegrown goods, homegrown everything, essentially. Now, we're never going to get away to where we're not dealing with other countries for certain things that we import into this country. But there's a lot of things that we can do in the US that we may be currently relying so much on other countries to do for us. I think that's going to change a little bit. And this whole Russia situation, um, is an eye opener in the sense that listen, we can't control what these other countries do. We have no idea what's going to happen. All right, so Russia's going to pay the price for this when this is all said and done. A lot of countries are pulling out resources. They're backing away from anything Russia. The guy that owns the Russian a soccer league team, his name is escaping me right now. He's selling the team right now. So Russia's going to feel the brunt of this attack on Ukraine for a long time to come. Um, I don't know if it's going to be worth it for them or not. Who's to say? But let's get back to Biden's speech as everybody was just clapping, "Yay, Joe! Yay, Joe!" I love the little fake claps. Got to touch on that because it's a big part of what we do, and it's a big impact on how the real estate industry functions. So one of the things he mentioned was a couple ways to deal with inflation. One of those would be to lower wages, right? So minimum wage type things, lowering those wages. The other way to fix that would be to um, lower inflation, right? I think we would all be for lower inflation, not lowering wages for people, right? We work too hard in this country for the little bit that we have in some cases for some people. So lowering wages is like a horrible idea. Now, I am not concerned whether you're a Republican or a Democrat. That is not what this is about. I don't care. I do care about real estate. I care about the real estate market, right? So lower wages is a horrible idea because people are already struggling as it is in some situations where interest rates are going up, right? So buying power is coming down for people. Now you want to talk about maybe lowering wages. I don't think that's a very good use um, of political power. If that happens, I don't think it's going to happen. I really don't think that would happen. Not in this environment anyway. I can't see that happening at all. Wages need to be increased. Minimum wage needs to go up. But again, let me be very clear. I'm not getting very political on here. Just my opinion. But Biden did talk about that. It really doesn't matter whether it's Biden or anybody else in office. Somebody's going to be upset. It just is what it is, right? I control what I can control in my own life, and I don't get too caught up in the political part of what goes on in this country that much. I'm just not that into it. But I am into real estate, and they do get they do coincide a lot, right? So One of the other things that he mentioned was the, obviously interest rates. We had a slight little break a couple days ago with rates. Felt good. It was a quick boop. That rate was gone. So we dropped below 4% briefly a couple days ago. And now we're kind of right back to where we were last week and the week before that. So, what I do want to also address is home prices, right? Because this is a big concern as well. Biden talked about the fact that the inflation is obviously causing cost of goods and services to be a little bit higher. It's also not helping that prices are continuing to go up. So all this stuff kind of circles back to each other, right? So you've got inflation, you've got builders struggling to build homes, and a lot of times struggling to finish homes that they start. Prices to build homes, prices to get supplies are going up, right? So are home prices. So are home prices. So as we start the first part of, actually not the first part, but technically March is kind of like where you start to see more houses start to slowly come on the market. I would consider mid-March till about October timeframe is kind of like the season, the peak home buying season. Although homes are sold every month, those are kind of the busiest month for obvious reasons. School's ending, summer's coming up here in a few months, and that's when most people end up moving. But are prices going to continue to rise? Well, it looks that way, but there's good news. So I want to share this with you so you guys can take a look at this graph. All right, so this is a price acceleration chart. This is coming from S&P Case-Shiller, CoreLogic, and FHFA. Okay, so price acceleration levels off. All right, this is good news for us that are in the housing market. For you as a potential homeowner, this is good news because that price acceleration is slowly leveling off. So what we experienced in 2021 with the crazy increases, the crazy bidding war where people were offering multiple thousands of dollars over asking, it's leveling off a little bit. It's not stopping, but it definitely is leveling off. This is good news. So if you're thinking about getting a home in 2022, I would advise that you start to look at that earlier than later, sooner than later. I want people to make sure they're in a position, obviously, to purchase a home and deal with what comes with home ownership, maintenance, and things like that. But this chart that you're seeing, again, it's not saying that price increases are coming down. It's just simply leveling off. So you're not going to see what we saw last year with the same percentage of people bidding over asking. Over asking bidding is still happening right now, right? It hasn't gone away, but it has slowed down just a little bit. Now, as we start the beginning part of March here and we start to get into our peak season for buying and selling, there's going to be more competition. The other thing is you still have investors from outside of the country investing in real estate, not just in the country. You got people coming from all over the country investing in real estate. I can speak from this because I've got so many people that I speak with on the real estate side. They have investors and they are just scooping up everything they can. So not only are you competing against a potential home buyer looking to live, a owner occupant looking to live in a home, you're also competing against investors that have a lot of money. Now, with all that being said, I don't want you to be discouraged by this at all. Do not be discouraged because the waiting aspect, when people say, well, you know what, I'm just going to wait. I keep hearing it. I'm just going to wait. That's a very, very risky thing to do. All right. It's just a very risky thing to do. As I said, mortgage rates are forecasted to rise this year and home prices should continue to appreciate. So waiting, unless you just financially just cannot get into a home right now, and there are people in that situation, they just can't do it. Otherwise, waiting is not necessarily the best answer for you. It really isn't. You might be frustrated. There's a lot of fatigue. I understand it's still out there. But ultimately, getting that home and getting into some form of wealth building, this is really the best way to do it and has been for 50 plus years. It's not going to change, guys. So hopefully, you are encouraged, even with everything going on. Biden's speech, the Ukraine, Russia, all this stuff that's going on, inflation, interest rates, it can be overwhelming, right? I'm in the business and sometimes I get overwhelmed, right? So for people that are first time homebuyers looking to get into a market right now and you hear all this stuff going on, I can understand there's some question marks like, man, I don't know if I even want to do this right now. Maybe I should just wait. Like it doesn't, there's so much. If you just read the headlines, it is going to be negative, negative, negative. I mean, obviously negative news sells. That's why you hear negative, negative, negative. There is some positive. All right. There really is. There's a lot of positive benefits that you would get from owning a home, number one. And it's just, it changes your mindset when you own. It just does versus renting. So if you've got questions, guys, please reach out to me. Stay encouraged, stay positive. You might need a news break. Maybe you need to turn some of that crap off because it's nothing but negativity, all of it. Negative is what sells. That's what sells. So, all these big news outlets, that's what they're going to feed us. They're going to feed us the negative stuff because that's what sells. Don't feed into it. You control the narrative in your own mind, right? Take what you can, what little bit of information you need, digest it, and then ask some experts. If you're looking to get into real estate, you need a realtor, any of that kind of stuff, you can reach out to me. I will get you in touch with some high powered, high quality real estate professionals. All right. Talk to you guys soon. Take care.
Hey, thank you so much for watching this video. And before you go, do us a favor, head on over to mortgagebosstv.com. That is our YouTube channel, okay? If you would give us a thumbs up for this video and subscribe, that way you don't miss any of our new video content.